Hi everyone, today we're going to sit down and have just like a little discussion chat, like if we were to grab a coffee together and chat about what it's like to start a booktube channel. I started my channel just a little over 2 years ago. In the end of July, my very first video was my August TBR. And I honestly had no idea what I was doing when I started. I just decided to film with my phone and put something out there and see what stuck. I had been watching BookTube for years at this point. I started to watch BookTube around the time of the pandemic and getting back into reading, and I really wanted to be part of the community. Now, looking back at that time, I've definitely learned a lot and grown a lot in knowing other booktubers and getting tips from people has made my channel better. So this is something that comes up in sprints every so often, is people wanting to start a booktube channel and kind of feeling a little bit lost of where to start, what they need to have, and some of the things that maybe I took a while to learn and it would have been nice to know right away. So we're going to sit down and just have like a little chatty time with some tips, tricks, also some things that just like worked for me and some things that maybe didn't. So that's what we're going to chat about today, is just some of the tips for people who are planning to start a booktube channel. And my first tip is do it. Do it. You will not regret it. It is so fun to be in booktube. This community is so fun and so caring. And all my friends basically are here. I mean, I do have some IRL friends, but like really, the people I talk to every single day are my booktube friends. There is not a day that goes by that I am not voxering with a handful of my favorite booktubers. And I will forever be blessed by the community that I have come to build here. And I think that's a really important part of looking into making a booktube channel, is that yes, you are sharing your love of books, but at the end of the day, you're joining the community or making your own. And to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. And that takes time to find your community and build your community, but might I suggest reaching out to someone who is just starting as well. Maybe do a search for the BookTube newbie tag. Who are you seeing in sprints that you interact with in the comments of somebody else's sprints often that is also recently or newly starting? Reach out to them. This is something that I did very early on. I was not a part of the BookTube community yet. I was still a watcher, not a creator. I was watching Michelle and Lexi sprints every day. They used to sprint every weekday together. And Neva and I were always in the comments. And we reached out to each other and said, hey, I'm starting a channel. You just started your channel. Do you want to sprint together? Because sprinting alone can be very intimidating because you don't know if anyone will be in the comments and you need somebody to kind of have a conversation with. Eventually, the more you do something, the more comfortable you get. I am now able to sprint by myself without being stressed. But in the beginning, that was not happening. I was not going to sprint by myself. So becoming friends with Neva was such an asset to my channel because we were always up to help each other, be on each other's channels, and support each other. Also, this gave me a best friend for life because that girl is my ride or die. And then that two-person friendship grew and grew and grew by one person at a time. And now I am so blessed to have so many. But reach out to someone who is similar sized, who is just starting, and you can grow together and learn together and support each other. That is definitely one of my top tips. In the same vein of just getting in and getting started, getting used to filming yourself is a big deal. And remember that you will always be much more critical of yourself than anybody else who's watching your videos. People are excited to support you. This community is really loving. They are not going to critique every little thing about you. That's something that I think we do to ourselves. So just get used to being in front of a camera and remember that we all have times where we stumble over our words, we make mistakes. There are bloopers in this video. I will have edited them out. You will think that I was perfectly eloquent, but I wasn't. I definitely wasn't always eloquent filming this. Thank you for editing. And do remember that like where we are now is not where we were when we started. Some of my very early videos are privated at this point, but you can still go back to some of my early videos and see just how much I did not know what I was doing.
Actually, don't do that. They're not very good.
And with that, don't feel like you need to necessarily post what you film. If you just want to get used to talking to a camera, you can film it, edit it, and then see how you feel. You don't necessarily have to post it, but getting used to talking to a camera is a big step, and you just kind of have to do it. With that being said, you do not need a camera to have a booktube channel. I still film on my cell phone. Cell phones today have amazing cameras. You do not need a fancy camera to have a booktube channel. You do not need fancy equipment. You can get a tripod for like 20 bucks on Amazon. You can probably even find them cheaper on like Target and Walmart. Like there are cheap tripods out there. It's so easy to get a tripod for your phone and just film. Also, if you don't have a tripod, I think there were definitely videos in my early days where I just like sat the phone up on books. Plus, there are a lot of programs that have free versions. A lot of the programs I use to this day have a free version. It doesn't come with all the bells and whistles, but it's definitely what I used when I started, and I definitely would recommend using the free version to a new booktuber. StreamYard has a free version for 20 hours of streaming a month. When you're first starting out, I never went over my 20 hours a month. Never, ever, ever. It's a great free version, but there are also other free platforms out there like Restream, and I know a lot of people use that. Canva, which is how I make all my graphics and thumbnails, has a free version. Again, you don't get all the bells and whistles with the free version, but it will do. It will do what you need it to do. For editing, I use a free version of iMovie. Now that is only accessible to those of us who have Apple products. So if you are looking for another something that will work, I know Leandra and a few other booktubers use something called Wondershare by Filmora, and this works on the internet, and therefore you don't need a specific PC or anything to have access. So that's definitely something to look into. And I'm sure there are other great editing softwares that are very accessible. And if you use an editing software that I didn't mention or a program that I haven't mentioned, please leave it in the description box below, because I think we can all help each other by being open about what we use and where we get our resources. For music and vlogs, we do have the YouTube audio library. Now, I will say some of those things can turn from copyright free to not copyright free. They are not always copyright free for life. So you can sort the YouTube library by duration of how long it is copyright free and search it to something that is forever copyright free, and therefore you shouldn't have an issue. But also the program I use, which is Thematic, does have a free version as well, where you get points every time you log in, every time you listen to a song, and after you get a certain amount of points, you can download a license to a song of your choice that you can use in your videos. Now, I know one of the questions I get a lot is thumbnails, and I will say thumbnails, even to me, 2 years in, I am still learning, I'm still figuring it out. Physical graphics is not something that necessarily comes easy to me. It's not something that my brain really can wrap around simply. So it's all about practice, trying it out, and learning and growing. One thing I always do is I'm always looking at what other creators who I think are amazing at making graphics, what they're doing. Obviously, make it your own. Don't copy and paste, but you can definitely use it as inspiration. One tip I definitely have when it comes to thumbnails, though, is to make sure your face is in the thumbnail. I know a lot of people don't necessarily want to put their faces in the thumbnail, but it does make it really easy when people are looking at YouTube and seeing just a bunch of videos to easily recognize that you are the creator of that video. And when your community wants to support you specifically, it makes it really easy for them to do that. Now, away from the tips a little bit into a little bit of the tips that come with a little bit of a warning. One thing with BookTube that I definitely have needed to work on as I've done it for long periods of time is how to do it in a sustainable way so I don't get burnt out. I've seen creators come and go due to burnout because it is so fun, and it's so fun to be in the community that sometimes we overwork ourselves. We don't give ourselves rest, we don't give ourselves time off, and we burn out. We are also, most of us, juggling BookTube around real life and real life things. Family, other jobs, school, all sorts of things. So burnout is real, and protecting yourself from burnout is really important because at the end of the day, consistency is the most important in growing a BookTube channel. The algorithm loves consistency. It loves it so much. And at the end of the day, we are a little bit subjected to just dealing with the algorithm for what it is. The algorithm loves a schedule, but remember that it loves any schedule. It does not require a video every day. It does not require 3 videos a week. Whatever is sustainable for you, you get to set the schedule. Yes, it likes to know that you have a video coming out every second Friday. So if you can make a schedule that is 1 video every second Friday, YouTube's gonna love that. It's gonna know that every second Friday they're supposed to promote your video because you put it out on the same day. But you set how often that schedule is. And just remember that. You are the one in control, so don't feel too pressured by it because you are the one that sets it. And it's really easy to play the comparing game, but try not to. Some people will grow faster than other people, and to my knowledge, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. A video that you put a lot of work into maybe won't do that well, and a video that you throw together in 10 minutes may soar and get the best numbers ever. There is really no way to know, so it's just about consistency and doing your best and doing what is passionate to you on your channel. Obviously, I like to see what kind of is trending on the Booktube homepage. What am I seeing a lot of people doing and how can I make it my own? But you really just have to do you and try not to compare, especially numbers wise. It's important to know what your numbers are, especially if you want to grow this to a certain size, but try not to over fixate on numbers because it can become really discouraging really fast. And it's not necessarily the best for your mental health and for avoiding burnout. One thing I've done with my time management for Booktube is making sure that I have a solid day where I just don't log in. I don't go on social media for every Wednesday. I just kind of have a social media free day. I schedule it out. I don't engage on social media or with my Booktube channel for one day. I mean, I'd still get 6 days of work. So it's not like it's being just completely left in the dust, but it's something that my brain has really started to need over the years of just a day where I'm not consuming something constantly. And my last tip for avoiding that burnout is to remember why you've started this channel in the first place. Because I think sometimes it gets lost in the daily making videos, reading books, all that good stuff. It gets kind of lost amongst it. Why did you start? Why did you want to be a part of the community? And I think if you can keep that at the center, it's really easy to strive forward with continuing to make content and continuing to engage with those that you make your community with. So that is pretty much the end of my tips and tricks and kind of what I always say when people ask me, what are the tips to starting a Booktube channel? These are the ones I always talk about. But again, if you are a Booktuber and you use a program that is free or easily accessible, please let us know down in the comments down below because maybe it's even something that I would like to have. But I also think that the community is best when we all share and grow together. And also, jump in, join us. It's a fun time. It's a great place and start building that community because I think if you lead with community, you are instantly winning over here in Booktube. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave a camera emoji for video making, for being a YouTube content creator. That would be fabulous. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.